Welcome to Common Sense Cafe, where we do not allow political correctness to get in the way of common sense. We're going to state it like we see it, like it or not. So, hey, we're back. It's been a while. I'm Jeff.
Kevin. Yeah, it's been a
That's
while.
Kevin. Yeah. Hey, so yeah, it has been a while, but there's been a lot going on, and
We
we both had a lot happening. But
I thought we were just hiding
when
after
the
the
call
election.
goes, we respond.
With what?
And I got a call for common sense yesterday, 2 days ago.
You got a call for common sense.
Yeah, I did. I got a call. Heard it loud and clear. I mean, it was screaming, common sense is needed. Common sense is needed.
Yeah.
Please, Common Sense Cafe, come on and
Absolutely.
straighten this out. And it came in the form of Congress passing a stimulus bill.
Okay.
So
Hey, before we get started, let's tell everybody, we like you said, we get busy and we'll call each other every week and hey, what's going on? How's it going? All that. But we don't talk about this stuff before we get on here.
no, this
So
is
I
fresh.
got no idea. I mean, I do have an idea, but so
It's not scripted.
it's not scripted.
In no
So,
way scripted.
hey, you may say something that I disagree with tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean that's very.
Usually, I'm the one saying something that you disagree with.
My rant will probably not match everybody else's opinion.
Hey, go for it.
All right, so here we go. First of all, I the news coverage said that they passed a $900 million
billion
stimulus bill, right? Which is true, but it's only half truth. They passed a $1.4 trillion
right
spending bill is what they passed. So let's start first with just the stimulus part of it and where I fall. First of all, when you're 20 something $trillion in debt, where do you get the money to where does that come from? Okay, I mean, I went to the Casey's the other day, and I got a drink in a one of those croissants, and I put my card in, and the lady says it's declined, and I said, well, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Here, shoom, there's more money. I mean, it's the concept is it just blows me away. So
yeah,
and a lot of people are going to say, well, we need the stimulus and everything. I understand where we're at with that, but it's still a phenomenon that we can create money. Now, we couldn't create money for complete health care for everybody, but we can create money, for the stimulus and getting the economy back on track. We couldn't create money to and I'm not and these are just things that I'm talking about. This doesn't mean I agree with these things, but we couldn't just create money to get us off of fossil fuel, but we can create money to stimulate the economy. So we're going to stimulate the economy for the second time for COVID. We're going to do $900 billion. Isn't that wonderful? How much money they're going to spend on us? Just $900 billion. And so I began to think, well, okay, then I got word that it's 1.4 trillion. So I want to know where the other money's going. And so I of course began to do a little research. Let's see. Hang on one second here. I'm just doing some mathematician stuff here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you got 900 All right. And hang on one second. Don't go anywhere yet. We're on a roll here.
Well, I don't know where you're getting to, but if there's 4 billion people or 400 million people in the United States, or roughly 400 million, and everybody got $600, I calculated it to be, I think it
300
was it $20 billion?
yeah. So
Something like that.
if if we look at it in percentages, the $1.4 trillion, 900 billion of that is about 60% of the money they're wanting to spend. Okay. But the $900 billion is not going directly into the public. Some of it's going, of course, to small businesses, about 300 billion or something. And then I think about almost double that's going into big businesses and airlines, of course, to help pay their salaries and everything. Airlines have to keep going. And did you know that starting back in March, did you know that some of the airline CEOs gave up 100% of their salary to no, I'm serious.
Did they really?
Yeah, Kirby, what's his name? Kirby for, I think, American Airlines.
Oh yeah,
$875,000. That's commendable. It's his base salary, and he gave that up. But he makes 16 point something million dollars a year. His base salary represents 5% of his annual income. So he gave up 5% of his. So why are we going to give money to the airlines to continue to pay this guy, even if he gives up that 5%, $875,000, and to us, $875,000 sounds like a lot, but when you're talking about $16 million in salary, 875,000 is 1/5 of that, or 5% of that rather. So don't. This is terrible. Don't pee down my neck and tell me it's raining. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So there, I have a problem there. So that's one of my. So then, I live in a community of farmers. I do a little bit of farming myself. We raise goats and sheep and so forth. So they increased the SNAP program. But then, I wish let me see. I think I may have it here. So then they said they're going to do some more. They're also setting aside more money for farm subsidies that have been directly impacted by COVID. Now let's think about this for a minute. Exactly what part of the farm industry has been directly impacted by COVID? Where does that? First of all, they're already subsidized. Corn and soybeans is subsidized. And there's other things that are subsidized as well. Corn and soybeans being the largest one. So exactly where does that fall? Now, the SNAP program is the food stamp program. So the food stamp program gets an increase. So there's going to be more food stamps going out. So there's going to be more. So that the same amount of food is going to be purchased now. They're trying to balance that and keep about the same amount of food being purchased all the time. And that way, the commodities don't fall. The necessity for commodity remains. Mm-hmm. So we're already subsidizing corn and beans and so forth. So where exactly have they been damaged by COVID? I want to know where the research comes in that says these farmers have been directly impacted by COVID. So you're a smart man. Tell me where they're impacted. You know, how are they impacted? What did they not sell as much corn? Well, how is that? How did they not sell as much corn? Most corn sold on futures.
Yeah,
It was bought a long time ago.
that's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what about beans? Well, beans are also sold on futures a lot of times. So some of it's been sold a long time. I just don't understand where they're going to send this money to.
Yeah.
Now, this is
Well,
still inside the package.
well, now, it's actually, now that's not part of the 900 million. Actually, I think, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm beginning to think, as I researched it tonight, I'm beginning to think the 1.4 trillion is besides the 900 billion that they're
Oh, you think it's
in addition
extra
to
on
that,
top of?
because I add up what I've gone through the bill, and when I add up everything that's not COVID, it comes to about 1,000,000,4. I mean, a trillion
Okay,
four.
you're
So
right. Now, Defense News says this: lawmakers tacked on a $1.4 trillion catch-all spending bill
yeah.
on top of. So you're right. That's
So,
not even coming out of.
but what's the problem is that the president can't. It's all in one bill. He can't veto. He can't pass the COVID uh, expense and not the COVID part of it, and veto the rest of it. He has to pass it all or veto it all. There was in the 1.4 trillion, just like you were saying, and that's a slick way that they do all the bills up there.
Sure, yeah.
Add omni bill, and you know what, omnibus, what is it, omnibus bill or
Omnibus,
omnibus? What that means? It means it's a
all
Latin,
encompassing.
yeah, Latin word meaning everything, all
Yeah,
encompassing.
all encompassing.
They can throw anything in. So
That's exactly right.
most of the
So
bills end up being like that. And I they said it was 5,000 pages was one of the arguments. I think there needs to be a bill passed up there that every bill that is to be voted on has to be read aloud in the Congress before they can vote on it. Every word
they
of
stop
that bill.
hiding all that mess then.
They would, because
Yep.
it come out that what they're really voting on.
But here we go. So here's $696 billion of the spending is going to go to the Pentagon for federal spending, pandemic relief and federal spending. So $700 billion is going to go directly to the Pentagon. So the Pentagon has control of that money now.
Mhm.
Now, so they're going to spend that money. Um, uh, um, then there's and there's a military defense increase, increase in spending on the defense. Here's another thing though, and I'm not trying to be partisan, but here's another thing. So every Democrat, including Biden, prior to the election, would not pass a stimulus bill because they said it was that the Republicans weren't going to do enough. According to the Electoral College, Biden wins the election, okay? After that, they agree to a stimulus bill that matches almost verbatim what the Republicans had proposed 6 months ago.
Right.
Don't tell me they're not playing political
Oh
games
yeah, it's
with the lives of people in this country, holding that stuff back. And Republicans aren't any better. I'm not saying they're any better, but in this case, the Democrats did it.
Oh yeah. Hey, there's 13 divisions in that bill. Let's start with, and they go A, B, C, D, and
Right.
the last one is COVID. So let's look real quick at okay, like A is agriculture. Division A
Yep.
is agriculture. $23.4 billion spent on agriculture in this bill. I don't have I agree with everything you said about the subsidies, but here's a couple interesting things I thought were in there. the $90 million, which is nothing in the size of this bill, but $90 million spent for breastfeeding counseling,
Yeah.
breastfeeding counseling. Now, I've never known a woman that needed somebody to teach them other than their mom or their girlfriends about breastfeeding. You know, I mean, $90 million, but that's not a
Well, wait a
big
minute.
thing. But
Now I'm going to tell you where that money's going to go. What's the number one promoted Democratic health program?
oh yeah,
It's Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
That money's going to go to Planned Parenthood. That's where it's going to go. Now, I can tell you that when that money goes, the tags that are connected to it are loose tags. I know I've got friends that work in similar fields where federal money comes in, state money comes in. And when it comes in, it's labeled one thing, but the tag on that is very loose. It's labeled that with overflow monies being able to be redirected to other portions of the thing.
Yeah.
They're not going to spend $90 billion on that. They're going to spend it however they want to.
Yeah. Okay. Here's $2 billion is going for international food aid. $2 billion we're spending on international food aid now. Let's see. That's all I've got to say about the agriculture. B is commerce, justice, and science. $71 billion for this division. In it, some of the things that are in it, there's $48 million for minority business development. You know, I'm not against minority business development, but okay, that's just 48 million. I'm sorry. 2 billion for earth science, climate change. 2 billion. See. C is defense. You were getting into that. The defense and government, 696 billion, right at 700 billion dollars, which is basically half of all the discretionary spending of this 1.4 trillion dollars, which I'm all for a strong military.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, before you go further, let's drop back to the agriculture just for a moment.
Yeah.
Farmers and ranchers will also see another 13 billion round of direct payments. Direct payments mean the farmers are going to receive $13 billion payments to help cover pandemic-induced losses. Okay? So again, and on top of that, 13 billion bolster the food stamp benefits. So it goes up. They're going to spend 15% more on that.
Right.
All right. So go back now, like you were talking about.
So defense. You know, we all want a strong defense. We depend on our military. But here's let's see here. $3 billion. $3 billion is going to the Afghanistan security forces, not our forces, but their forces. We're paying $3 billion to support and fund their forces to fight, to protect themselves. 275 million is going to the Ukraine security assistance. Of course, that'll probably go up if Biden really gets to be the president.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you're right.
1 billion for international security. That goes to the UN, you know, the funding. I got some notes here. It says page 11. I can't get there that fast, so I'll just go on. Let's see where I'm at. Oh, okay. 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Provisions. Okay, here's some things that okay. Along with the funding, where'd it go? No funds to exercise United States control over any oil resources of Iraq or Syria. No funds may be used in respect to Iraq and Syria in contravention of the War Powers Resolution. Let's see. directs an assessment of and report on Russia's activities in Afghanistan. You know, we're talking about millions of dollars for this. That's within the Afghanistan. Let's see here. It says includes 3.2 billion in prior year recession plus 1.9 billion in rescissions from prior year. Includes 284 million public schools and military installations. Provides that nothing in the act may be construed as authority to use of force against Iran. Why are they going to put that in there?
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
they're trying to
because
restrict the president.
yep, because you're going to they can get it in there in this large bill because everybody's going to look bad if they don't get something done. So they're going to get
Nothing
something
in
done.
this act may be construed as authorizing the use of force against Iran.
Yeah.
Requires the Secretary of Defense to notify Congress of any foreign contributions relating to this to the stationing or operations of the United States Armed Forces. Okay.
Well, it's that give and take thing that they call it compromise, but really and truly what it is manipulating and I know that um, you know, if you want to look good to your constituency, you give up something over here, and I know how all of that works, but somewhere along the line, the American people have to draw the line and say, listen, you're not spending our money anymore. We're tired of you spending our money. Some of this stuff needs to go on some kind of national referendum where it's a national vote. Here you go. Legislation. This legislation includes bipartisan agreement to forgive nearly $1.3 billion in federal loans to historically black colleges and universities.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with education, but let's get some equality to it. You know, um, some of the decrease in attendance to historically black colleges we know is because um, people want to go to where you know. Oh,
Uh-oh, I lost him. Well, I'm just going to read through a little bit further on this. The Energy and Water Division, 49.5 billion. Financial Science and General Government, 24 billion. And of that, it takes 12 billion to run the IRS, $12 billion. Homeland Security, 69 billion. Homeland Security, 69 billion. You see, oh, there were some, page 19 through, here were some interesting things. They had in there to restrict what ICE can do and what the border can be used to build fences. Let's see. Uh, the bill, let's see, 6-day delivery. That's on the post office bill serves. Yeah, the post office, that was E. What are we on? Yeah, for E, I'll go back just a second. It says the bill preserves 6-day postal delivery, continue to prevent consolidation or closure of small rural and other small post offices and require the Postal Service to continue to sell the popular Tiger stamp. I'm not sure what the Tiger stamp is and why they quit selling it or why they started selling it. It's just some crazy stuff in here, just somebody's pet peeve. So, in other words, the post office can't close facilities that aren't providing enough services to substantiate the cost of running the facility. Let's see, uh, the bill preserves a 1% pay raise for federal, federal civilians for the calendar year. 1% pay raise for federal civilian employees. Okay. The bill continues language. Okay, the bill continues provision. Energy emergency fund for record. Okay, let's go on. Homeland Security. Here's Homeland Security, page 19 is what I got through 21. Okay. Um, okay, here's one. It says, when talking about everything that they're spending, but it says that they reject the proposal. They project the proposed use of USCIS immigration examination fee funding to support ICE investigations. This provides no funding for additional immigration enforcement personnel. So there's a lot of things that throughout this that restricts what the government can do. So there he is telling me he can't get back on or something. His battery on the laptop probably went dead. Let's see what's going on. My battery died. Brand new computer. Yeah. Okay, we'll get back on that and get his views a little bit later. Let's see. Let's go on just a little bit further and see what we've got. Um, let's see, page 21. What is that? Yeah, here's page 21. Requires ICE to publish information on a publicly available website with the numbers of types of people in its custody, such as families and transgender detainees, border apprehension detainees, interior enforcement detainees, and those who are in custody who have a positive credible fear claim. Positive credible fear claim. Well, let's see. Prohibits ICE, requires ICE to provide detailed reporting on its alternatives to detention program. Prohibits DHS from placing pregnant women in restraints except in extraordinary circumstances. I mean, just some ridiculous stuff here to be put in a bill. I mean, and some other things, just stuff that people shouldn't be doing to begin with. Okay, that's Homeland Security Division G, the Interior Environment. It's 36 billion for this division, and of course they have the EPA in there. It's going to get $9 billion. Next, H is labor and education, 197 billion, and there's a lot hidden in education that really some of it has nothing to do with education. It's just pushing their agenda. Let's see here. Department of Labor in that is 13 billion. Health and Human Services is 43 billion, and Department of Education is actually 74 billion. I is a legislative branch. They get 5 billion. Um, J is military construction and VA affairs, $113 billion. Let's see. K is states and foreign affairs with 55 billion. Let's go to page 40 and see what we got on here. This is for the VA. I'll tell you, L, the next one is transportation, 137 billion, 137 billion for transportation. And then M is COVID. But let's see here what we have here real quick. I've got some comments from 37, 38. Let's see, I think global health and international basic education. 75 million for physical. We're spending 950 million for basic education for our global partnership for education. Education and cultural exchange, $740 million. Let's see what else we got here. Other global health plans, 3.26 billion for programs to improve mental and child health and fight infectious disease, which is 3 million above the 2020 enacted level. So, so that's for the global health plan, is spend 3.26 billion on children and families in other countries. Let's see, international basic education. I might have already said that, 950 million. Peace Corps, democracy program, environment. Drop the rain for 15 million. Natural reserves. Okay, that's not bad. There was a lot of money in here for the climate change, and in two different divisions. Some of it in the education, and some of it in one of these others. Oh, here's what I was wanting to get to. I see now. Yeah, here's something the president was picking out some of these to point out today. But here's support for the U.S. allies and partners include: we'll send Israel $3.3 billion, Jordan $1.6 billion, Ukraine $450 million, Georgia $132 million, assistance for Eastern Europe and Euro-Asia $770 million. Countering Russia Influence Fund is $290 million. Central America will send $506 million. Let's see here. Colombia gets $461 million. Mexico gets $159 million. Democracy and the rule of law in Venezuela, we're going to spend, it says not less than $33 million. Tibet, $18 million. Countering Chinese Influence Fund, $300 million. So, we spend more money overseas given to other countries than we do helping out people here. Of course, for every dollar you spend here or you designate towards helping the poor or the needy, of that dollar, probably 10 cents actually getting to help the person. COVID, I had to get rid of that one, I think. Appropriations, yeah, I had to get rid of that one, but and wouldn't you know it, we'll have to come back. But yeah, COVID, they're wanting to, they're giving $600 per person to families if you make 75,000 or less. Above that, it prorates off at a every $100 it prorates, takes off $5. So I believe that's right, 5 or 50, something like that. It's just but anyway, they're let's see what else is going to happen. I mean, they're spending and that comes to, if there's 400 million people in the world, that comes to what, 24 billion or 2.4 billion or 24 billion. 400 million and 600, that's going to be $24 billion that they're spending on sending out those direct payments. And then they're increasing the income, the unemployment income by was it $600 or $300? Maybe it's $300 a week this time and $600 last time. So, but like my brother was saying, there's so much in there that even in the COVID section that just has does very little to really affect the people that are hurting by this COVID pandemic. Small businesses, the hourly workers, those are the people that are hurting the most. And people that can't you can't work from home when you work for a grocery store or a restaurant. You can't work from home like people in my business can. So that's where the money needs to go, and it seems like we're using a shotgun approach and just barely a few BBs hitting the target. And so Well, I'll go for now and get my brother. I guess he's all fired up about it, and a good right to be. We missed. We've been gone a while. 'Cause, this time of year is really tough on pastors. My brother's a pastor of a church, and they stay really busy this time of year, and um, I've been busy with a few things lately, so it's just been a hit and miss, and we've missed each other on being able to connect to get some more videos out there. But hope you're enjoying them. Hope you either love them or hate them, and either one, give us some comments. We can take it. Um, so I hope you're enjoying this, and we'll see you next time from Common Sense Cafe. I'm Kevin.